Guys, this is Butcher, and in this video, I'm gonna talk over a replay of me playing Tinker, and I'm just gonna point out I'm gonna try to think out loud and explain why I do things and explain the goal. And before I get into this replay, I want to say that this game is gonna be pretty much a perfect Tinker game for me. Like everything that went right or could have went right. So like everything just like I played well and everything. I did everything I was supposed to, but it's just that this is kind of a perfect Tinker game, and this is maybe like 1 in 10 Tinker games that I play. So not every single game is gonna be like this, and don't expect your games to be like this. This is pretty rare that this happens. So don't like set your expectations too high, I guess. And also, before I get into the replay, I just want to talk about the general strategy with Tinker. So the biggest thing is item choice. Can I even pull up items? What? Alright, basically, so your beginning build is always going to be bottle, Soul Ring, and Boots of Travels. Either you can get Boots of Travels before Soul Ring or Soul Ring before Boots of Travels, depending on the situation. And then you go Blink 100%. If you don't go Blink, then that's retarded. Okay, and then your item choices starts to differ. You can go either Hex, you can go either Dagon, you can go either Ags, you can go into Bloodstone, and stuff like that. And then after those items, and those items you pick depending on what your team needs and depending on the opponent lineup. So if the opponent lineup has like a Storm and like a bunch of heroes like a Slark or something, and you're lacking lockdown in your team, but you have a ton of damage, like you have a ton of carries, then you need to go Hex as early as possible. The thing I like about Hex, it gives you a ton of mana to use your spells, and you're gonna see that Tinker heavily relies on March and staying in the trees, and you don't ever want to be seen by your opponents too much, because when people see a Tinker, they just want to kill the Tinker because they know that the Tinker has Blink and can use a shit ton of spells. So most of the time you want to stay in the fog and you want to play super safe with Tinker, because people are really gonna try to target you and everything, especially in the laning phase. Like it's hard. So you have to play kind of safe, and every time you die with Tinker, it's really, 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 really bad. Like it's better not to die with Tinker than to get a kill and maybe die. That kind of thing. And also, some items that you can get later on in the game, just to think about, is BKB if you really need it, Bloodstone if you really need it, kind of later in the game. Axe you only get early game. Dagon, E-Blade, maybe just the ghost thing for 1500 gold. Yeah, and if your team is lacking damage, they need to go Dagon and other items. So, okay, let's get into this replay. I'm gonna lower the sounds.
No gold for you.
It's pretty loud. Alright, cool. Alright. So the Queen of Pain lane is pushing, which is good. And I'm controlling the lane pretty well. I'm gonna look at last hits and last. So I'm trying to use my laser as much as possible, and I use laser so he can't get last hits or I can harass him. And I want to pretty much spam the laser because you have so much mana and the laser doesn't cost anything, costs 95. So it makes no sense to take harass damage from the Queen of Pain without using a laser. So just use a laser just like anytime that you want, basically. And Queen of Pain is one of the better laning opponents against Tinker. Some of the worst opponents are, well, Storm isn't really too bad. Actually, Queen of Pain is literally like one of the worst. Maybe something worse is like OD or something, or Silencer. But yeah, see how I'm like harassing the Queen of Pain and I'm training hits? And what I did, the early game items that I bought No Talisman and 3 Branches, which is so no regen, but I got myself a salve after I got a couple last hits. So I really like doing that because I can last hit a lot better. So now I'm 6-4 and the Queen of Pain is 3-2, so I'm heavily winning on last hits already. I'm already doubling her last hits, so that's really good. I really like this build, like, because you can always ship yourself a salve like as soon as possible. The only time that it's a bad idea is if you're going up against a super hard harasser, but I don't know, when you have so much damage with Tinker, it's really hard to trade hits with Tinker. So if he brings me down to half HP, I'm gonna bring him down to like a quarter HP or more, and might even kill him. So like, it's really like Tinker is a very great lane controller, but he's very easy to gank. So if you're playing against a Tinker, I would suggest to gank him maybe once or twice before in the laning stage, so he doesn't have complete freedom in the lane. But in this lane, I don't think I was ganked, so that was maybe one of the reasons that I did so well. So 10 and 6, 6 and 2, still really good. Going bottle. And you always have to kind of watch the map, I guess. You always want to keep the creeps towards your side of the map. See how I'm like controlling the lane super well and like denying everything. So that guy getting so wrecked, dude. But because I'm always on top of the hill, like it's always very easy for me. Okay. Oh yeah, I reused the courier. Drow was getting her items, but I think he could have killed me there. But yeah, he could have killed me there. He didn't see that I didn't have mana for rockets. But if I did have mana for rockets, then there's no way he's gonna kill me. Oh yeah, I'm reusing the courier right now. I should have used it earlier. That was kind of my bad, but yeah. And I think this is the opponents are maybe low 4K, so it's not like the highest skill bracket, but it's still pretty good. So I'm dropping the no talisman to get the most out of my bottle. So if you're like low HP, just use all 3 bottle charges like in a row and just drop your stuff so you can like regen a lot more mana and a lot more HP. And there's a bunch of different Tinker builds that you can go, like skill builds. I prefer getting laser and kind of like, okay, so most pros, just about everybody that I watched, so like, I mean, I think I watched like 4 pro players play Tinker, and all of them go laser, rocket, laser, rocket. So at level 3, you definitely want to have a level 2 laser because it's just such good harass and it's pure damage. Rockets is really bad in the laning stage, but oh, okay, here's a pretty nice kill. Good job, Pudge. And yeah, rockets are pretty bad in the laning phase, but you want to max them earlier than the laser when you get boots of travels, because then you can spam it, and you want to make sure that like whenever your opponents are low level and you just got your boots of travels, if you spam rockets like on supports like Lion or Winona, then they're gonna lose a lot of HP. So you don't want to have like a level 4 laser and level 2 rockets when you get your boots of travels and you start spamming rockets on them, because you can't really get close, you're gonna die. So you just spam rockets, and it's better to have level 4 rockets and a level 2 laser when you do have your boots of travels and you're trying to spam it and just harass the enemy as much as possible. So I mean, it depends on what you want to go. I went level 3 laser because I'm laying against the Queen of Pain. I mean, I just really like laser, so like a lot of games, I don't know. I definitely not gonna max the laser. I think at level 4, I either get it level 2 or level 3. Sometimes if I want to get to like a Huskar or something, then I get it level 4. But it's very preferential. But the thing is, like, all 3 skills for Tinker are really good. Like the laser, rocket, and the march is really good. Oh, this is so sad. He fucked up, dude. He could have killed me there, I think. If he would have just what'd you call it? Daggered me and then blinked towards me, I think I would have just been dead. Even if I lasered him, he still would have killed me. But yeah, oh well. Okay, so this is the recommended build. Go like laser, rocket, and then max march, or get 2 points or 3 points into march, and then you want to kind of get your rearm right before you get your boots travels, kinda. So if you see that you're approaching boots travels, don't get a level 4 march or level 3 march. Get your fucking rearm, because it's pretty retarded if you get your boots travels and you don't have rearm yet. So that's pretty bad. In this lane, I prefer going soul ring before boots travels just about every game, unless you're going like super destroying your lane and you have like perfect CS and you're killing your opponent. you want to get like boots of travels early, I guess, before you're sobering, just to make sure that you have the boots of travels. The problem with getting the boots of travels before sobering is, first of all, if you die, you're gonna lose the gold, so it's harder to get 2,000 gold than to get 800 gold and then spend that 800 gold. And also, I like sobering because you can spam your march in lane, so you can kind of control your lane and then go in the jungle and stack and then march to the jungle, and you're gonna have much better regen. It's just gonna have more sustainability, I guess, than if you're just going straight boots of travels. You kind of can't really spam too many spells, like, yeah. So I would suggest going sobering first, but try both and see which one you prefer, or which ones you have more success with. So the thing about March, when the creeps are moving, okay, when anybody is moving in the march, going like sideways, going perpendicular to the march, they take tons more damage. I want to say they take like twice as much damage almost. So if you march, if you're level 4 march, and you march a creep wave and it's standing still, like hitting your own creeps, there's a high chance that you're not going to kill all those creeps. Like, they're not even going to die towards the end of the march. So they're going to be like maybe 20-10% HP, right, towards the end of it. But if they're moving, right, and like you march right where the creep wave is moving, you're gonna kill that creep wave. Like if they're moving, it's gonna be a lot easier. So see how I said everything was gonna go right. So here I got a haste and I just ganked. So it just went. See, this is what I mean. See, I marched and it was even a level 3 march and it killed all the creeps because the creeps are moving. If the creeps are standing in one spot, there's like most of the creeps would run like 30% HP or 40% HP by the end of the march. Okay, so here I'm going in the enemy jungle and farming it because I know that the Queen of Pain went top. See, I see him at the map, and I killed Lion. So I know they're going to be kind of passive, so I'm just kind of being ballsy and stacking the enemy jungle, and I'm going to farm all 3 of these camps. So, yeah, that's pretty good. I could have, if I would have been closer to my own jungle, I would have done this in my own jungle. But I really like to farm jungle with Tinker, and you want to get good at stacking. You want to use your, basically with Tinker, it's being as efficient as possible because you have all of the resources in the world. You have March, you have Rearm, which is fucking ridiculous, and then you have the Boots of Travel, so you can like super farm. You can like get so much farm, so much gold, so much everything. Like, but you have to know how to use it, and you have to know when to go places, and you have to always watch the clock and see how much you can stack and what you can stack. If you have allies that are stacking for you, it's so much better. Like, it's actually like one of the best things. Like, it's super important. Like, same thing if you're playing SF, if you're playing Alchemist, like mid. Even if you're playing Queen of Pain, even playing Tiny, if you have allies that can stack for you, that's fucking awesome. That guy blocked my cam for some reason, I don't know why. And then, yeah, well, at least he killed Slark, nice. But, yeah. So, tell your teammates to stack at the beginning of the game. Be like, please gank mid or please stack, because if they do stack, then it's so much better. And sometimes it's not a bad idea to stack for yourself. Like if I was playing Radiant, I would, every opportunity I get, I would kill the creeps and then go stack. The thing about jungle is it's a reliable farm. So you're probably not going to die if you're farming jungle, but you might die if you're farming lane. So if you're getting ganked a lot in lane, then I would prefer to stack rather than farm the lane if you're losing pretty hard. So here I'm level 9, and I have 57 CS, 59 CS, 17 denies, which is really good. So I'm pretty much doubling Quap's CS, so I'm destroying. Nature's Prophet has more CS, but that's neutral creep, so it doesn't really count. So I'm pretty sure I have the highest net worth. Yeah, by far. So, I mean, you want to farm as much as possible. Oh, here's... Okay, so I TP'd in. Alright, I glyphed, and I just made sure to deny a tower, I guess. Nice. Easy deny, boys. And also, when you're farming the creeps, like, you want to kind of... when you're marching the wave, kind of try to march to the side of it, I guess. Because like, okay, if there are 3 creeps in a row, and you're marching, and it hits the first creep, Like the march is absorbed by some creeps. So, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but okay. Yeah. So here I'm farming, going for blink. Once you get that blink, like once I get that blink, okay, I'm gonna talk about times for getting butcher travels, soul ring, and everything. Okay, so the perfect time, if you're having like a perfect game, like if you're killing your opponent and getting perfect CS in your lane, the earliest you're gonna get your butcher travels is like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. If you get 6 minutes, that means you're killing your opponent and you're getting all the creep kills. If you get it like 7 minutes or 8 minutes, that means you're kind of maybe killed your opponent once and getting all the CS. Most of the time, you're gonna get it around 9 minutes or 10 minutes, boots travels, and you're gonna get boots travels and soul ring around 12 minutes. I mean, it's pretty decent timing. It's not too bad. Like, I guess optimal timing would be 10, 11 minutes for your soul ring boots travels, but that's like if you're having a good game. Most of the time, that's not gonna happen because the opponents are gonna control you, and if you're playing against decent allies, they're gonna gank you, and it's gonna be hard to really get your stuff early. Blink dagger, 14, 15 minutes is pretty decent timing. That's like if you're having a good game. So here I'm kind of scared of the Queen of Pain because like he can still burst me and stuff. Oh, I think here I'm gonna. So make sure I get close in range and I kill the OD with the rockets, which is kind of funny. Yeah, and that's why you want to have high level rockets when you do get boots of travels, because that shit's so effective, like so much damage, to be honest. Got on blink already. It's awesome. See how I move to the side to make sure the creeps kind of move a little bit to the side, perpendicular to the wave instead of with the wave, so it does a little bit more damage. So now I get a blink, and pretty much I'm invincible right now. Like, you shouldn't really die. Here he fucked up. He should have just hit the creep one more time, and the creep would have died. But here I messed up. I could have blinked if my reaction was faster enough. But I get kind of lucky with my allies here. Kind of playing ballsy here, but I have boots of Chavos, and most of the opponents have brown boots, so I'm much faster than they are. 405 movement speed, which is really good. So now I'm just like shift queuing my blink just about every single time I TP in. And you always want to TP and blink into the woods, like most of the time. Like unless you're sure that there's nobody ganking you. Like right now I'm sure nobody's ganking me because all of them are dead and 2 of them are showing mid, so I don't really care. But most of the time you want to be in the trees marching. Like you want to make sure that there's almost 0 chances the opponent is going to kill you. Like even if it's like low chances that people are going to kill you, don't just march in the vicinity, like in the where they see you. Especially if you're playing against like a spur breaker, then you always need to shift Q and blink in the trees and shit. I actually want to see, how did he even live? Cause, oh, he's already here? Wow. Oh, he blinked to dodge my rockets. Oh. Oh, okay. Alright, I understand now. Yeah, I was so confused how we didn't find them. Okay. Wait, what the? Tinker. Okay, cool. Alright. Another thing about hotkeys. If you're using regular keys, Q, W, E, R, you need to have 6 hotkeys. Like, straight up. If you're playing Tinker, you need to have at least 4. If you have 4 hotkeys, you're gonna have a decent time, I guess. But you really need to have 6, and you need to get good at using it. Like, because there are a bunch of games where you go late game and you'll have 6 activation items, so you're gonna need to use them pretty well. And it needs to be kind of instinctive how to use them. Also, what else? Oh yeah, I use legacy keys. So for me, I use AZXQFV for my hotkeys, which is kind of weird, but it works. Like, I've gotten super used to them. Here I'm just, this is a very easy team fight. I stayed in the trees, and then after they kind of distracted, I go from behind, then I just burst people. And at this point of the game, I'm super strong. Like, I'm stronger than most of them. I can burst a lot. I have really pretty high HP with the point booster. Okay, I want to talk about leveling up your ultimate. Nice punch. And most of the time, you want to level. And this is super crucial, man. Like, I see people do this, and this is actually a mistake of Dendi's that he used to make a lot. He used to level up his ultimate, level 2 ultimate and level 3 ultimate way too early. Like, actually, the ultimates, like, you don't, most of the games, you don't need to level up your level 2 ultimate at level 11 or your level 3 ultimate at level 16. Like, it's just too much fucking mana. Like, 225 mana and 325 mana is a ton compared to 125. The the second difference, like the 1, 2, 3 seconds rearm, is a pretty good difference, but it's much better to just take your time and have the 3-second rearm most of the time. So, okay, suppose you're going like Dagon, and it depends on how much mana you have. Like, if you're having a shitty game, you just got your Blink Dagger and you level 14, and you maybe have like level 1 Dagon, I would not level up my ultimate even to level 2. Because it's just too mana intensive. Like, suppose you have a stack and you need to march 3 times. That takes up all your mana, right? Actually, if you have level 2 rearm, you might not even use all your mana. I mean, you might run out of mana for the third rearm. For the third march. And most of the time, you're TPing in with not full mana because you want to just, like, always keep TPing and stuff. And suppose there's a team fight, and instead of letting out 4 rockets, you only let out like 2 sets of rockets, but faster with the leveled up rearm. So I suggest, like, maybe level up your ultimate. Most of the time, this is what happens for me. I level up my ultimate maybe to level 2 at like level 14, and then I level up to level 3 after I get a big item like a sheep stick or like max my Dagon or something when I have enough mana to sustain it. But so like maybe a level 20 or something. But yeah, make sure, like, if you're having mana issues, do not level up your ultimate. Like, it's gonna seriously ruin your game. Like, you're gonna TP in, use like 2 spells, and then you need to go back. Like, that's fucking retarded. So yeah, just watch that. Like, seriously, don't level up. Okay, here is kind of weird. I fuck up here. Can't believe he didn't shackle me. I was so close. Like, it's so lucky that he hooked the windrunner too. But yeah, that was pretty decent place, I guess. I should have died there, man. But kind of lived somehow. But I played it well, but I should have died there, to be honest, if the windrunner just shackled me. He had vision on me, he's just slow, I guess. But yeah, okay, also here I go Aghanims. The thing about Aghanims, you want to get a super early game. Aghanims is not really that good of an item on Tinker. It's only good against, like, really squishy heroes. So if you're playing against squishy heroes like Lion or Windrunner, and in the OD and Queen of Pain, then you want to get the thing, because it's gonna do so much damage, like, to their opponent team, like, combined. It's just ridiculous. But if you're going against super tanky heroes, then don't even bother with that shit. Okay, here, Slark. Oh. Oh. God, like. He fucked up, man. Did he have ultimate? He didn't have ultimate. Okay, if he had ultimate there, I should have been dead. But, okay, this is pretty good. Alright, another thing. What is it I wanted to point out? Yeah, most of the games in high-level games, like if I'm going against a hero like Storm, or I could have won Sheepstick this game, to be honest, first item, but oh yeah, about Ags. Yeah, you want to get it early. If you don't get it before 25 minutes, same thing with Necrobook. Like, Aghanims is like Necrobook. If you don't get it before 25 minutes, don't get it at all. Because late game, Aghanims is kind of useless. Like, the rockets are kind of useless. The only time it would be good to get it, like, late game, or maybe, like, at any point of the game, if you're playing against the PL, or an illusion hero like a Naga, because that shit spreads with the lasers. So I mean, I guess that's pretty good, but I still think there's better items than Ags late game, especially. It doesn't really provide that much. The only thing it does do early game that's really good, it gives you the rockets, which is pretty cool, and more importantly, it gives you HP. So there, I survived like 2 or 3 times because of the items. If I went like sheepstick and I was saving money for the sheepstick, yeah, I would have probably like died. Actually, yeah, I would have died both of those times that I almost lived. I mean, that I almost died. Yeah. So here, you always want to stay in the back, and if your team is kind of losing the fight, just go back and go back in. I mean, TP back in. So 10-0, and I'm going Bloodstone. Okay, so now I just want as much mana as possible. So basically, what I want to do in this game, I want to just spam my rockets like 6 times when I see, like, during the team fight, and that's pretty much gonna kill all of them from full HP. Like, pretty much, like, it's gonna, like, 3 rockets kill Lion, 3 rockets kill Winner, and like 4 rockets kill Queen of Pain and OD, and like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 rockets kill Slark. So I mean, they do a ton of damage. So, and also the tankiness doesn't hurt. Like, Bloodstone is really good because you get super tanky, and like, that's awesome. The only thing I don't like about getting Bloodstone is the Soul Ring helps you so much. Like, if you use Soul Ring after every single rearm, it gives you so much more mana. If you upgrade it to Bloodstone, you can't use the Soul Ring anymore. I've seen some people get Soul Ring after they get Bloodstone, so like they use the Soul Ring to build a Bloodstone. I have no idea why that didn't stack. I guess you have to pull it to the right instead of going up, so I guess I'll do that. But that should have stacked, man. That was super close. It's so weird. And yeah. Man, I'm losing my train of thought. I just got back from work, so I just worked for like 7 hours straight. So I'm pretty tired. Yeah. If you upgrade the Soul Ring into Bloodstone, some people buy Soul Ring right after they build a Bloodstone, and then they sell the Soul Ring like super late game when they need to buy something else. Another thing you could do, like in base, like I'm doing right now, you can drop a big item like Aghanims or a Sheepstick or something. Oh, he's dead. That's hilarious. But yeah, you could drop that item to regen the mana faster, because the way it regens in the fountain, your HP regens based on percentages. So it's always going to regen at the same, like, you're going to, from 10% HP to 100% HP, it's going to take you the same amount of time to regen that amount of HP. But the mana, it's not by percentage. So whenever you have like 2,000 mana or 1,000 mana or super high mana on heroes, it takes you forever to regen that mana. So what you do is you drop that item and you lose you drop like 400 mana off of your mana pool, and then that mana regen faster. And then you pick up that item again, and your mana is full mana. So it's just something to accelerate your regen and base for it if you want to be like super efficient. I do it. I don't really do it most of the time. Like, but if you see Dendi play Tinker, he does it like all the fucking time. Like when he plays serious, and it adds like, I mean, you wait like 1 second or 2 seconds less in the fountain to regen all your mana, which is, I mean, pretty good. But it's same thing with power treads. Like, suppose you're playing anti-mage, like who the fuck Oh shit. Damn. I almost died again there. That's cool. But yeah, same thing with power treads. Suppose you're playing like anti-mage and you're farming the jungle. Like pro players, they switch to intelligence every single time they blink, and they switch to agility every time they farm the camp, and they do that all the time. So they do like switch it basically like every couple of seconds when they need to blink and when they need to farm, which is kind of ridiculous and kind of like, I mean, like, yeah, like who the fuck does that, you know? Like, I mean, it saves you a little bit of mana, but it's just very try hard. Like, it's hard to do. You need to concentrate a lot. Okay, so I think I'm going. Where's my bloodstone? Wait, did I already buy my bloodstone? No, I didn't buy it yet. Oh, here, okay. Here my mouse I think is lagging. So, yeah, I fixed my mouse just now, okay. Oh, okay, there we go. I bought the bloodstone. I mean the soul booster on my courier. Alright. So 27-minute bloodstone axe is pretty good timing. I mean my farm is really good. I think 570 gold per minute. I mean, which is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. That's net worth. At this point of the game, I'm like super tanky. I have 1700 mana, so I'm not really scared of anything. That was actually close. If OD would have interrupted my TP, I would have died there. So see what I mean? Like everything that happens in this game, like I still have 0 deaths, but I came like close to dying like 5 times. I lived with like 10 HP, and like super cool, like lucky circumstances for me. So that's what I meant when this game is like one of the perfect games. I mean, yeah. And here I'm just trying to secure. I'm trying to zone out the enemies from farming. So you just want to spam the march. And that's another thing with Tinker. Like most of the time, most of your damage comes from march. So if you see like enemies fighting, you basically blink in the trees where the enemies are gonna be, or like if the enemies are chasing your allies, and you just march there. Like march, rearm, march, rearm, march, rearm, and like that does a ton of damage, and that's AoE damage. Too bad it's magical, so if they do get BKBs, you're kind of fucked. But it's still really good. So that's why Tinker is really good with heroes like Void, because Void Chronos, and then you go behind them and you march like 2 or 3 times, and they're gonna have to like walk through the march to escape, and they're gonna take like 1,000 damage just from the march, which is kind of ridiculous. All right, so what's happening here? What else do I want to mention with Tinker? Don't be afraid with Tinker to prioritize farm over helping your allies, I guess, because oh yeah, here, yeah. Get these boots. I love doing this. Getting sheepstick and then going these boots. Boot of Child is level 2. Because you just okay. Suppose like you have an ally in the trees. You TP to that ally, and you blink and instantly hex one of the opponents, and you perma hex him. And your ally just basically you kill him, so it's perfect for ganking. And a lot of times that there's not going to be creeps next to the team fight that you need to TP to, so TP to an ally, which is perfect. Also, another good strategy to use, suppose you don't know, because okay, people are going to stake you out as opponents, like playing against Tinker. They're going to be like waiting for you, right? So like suppose you're playing against a Storm Spirit or like an Invis hero, and you're not sure whether they're stalking the lane, like there's nobody in the lane, and you can TP there and farm the creeps, and then TP out. You don't know if they're gonna kill you or not, so what you do, you TP in and you cancel it last second. So you TP for like 2.5 seconds, and then you cancel it, and see if anybody jumps or pops out. And this is where Axe becomes super OP. See how much damage it does? It's ridiculous. Like pretty much hit like 3 rockets on 3 heroes, so like pretty much brought win rage down from like from like full HP to like 10% HP, some shit like that. And never panic with Tinker. Like that's another thing, man. Like you always have to. You can never panic. Like always keep in mind what you're gonna do next, and always plan ahead. Like. Keep in mind like what you're gonna do. So for example, my plan here, I'm gonna press rockets rearm. Okay, so I'm gonna press rockets, rearm, blink, rockets, rearm, blink, rockets, rearm, and then blink, laser, rocket, Dagon, some shit like that. And also the best sequence to do your suppose you're ganking somebody and you have a Dagon, and blink dagger. The best sequence to kill somebody with is shoot the rockets, blink in, laser, and then Dagon. Because you don't want to blink in and Dagon and then laser. Well, I mean, I guess it's not much of a difference, but the laser has an animation. And also, if you're late game and you have a Dagon and E-Blade, don't bother even using your laser, because it takes, like, the animation, like, okay, Dagon and E-Blade, they have no animation, so it's pretty much instant. But the laser and even the rockets, they have a fucking animation. So, like, the laser has, like, a half a second animation, which is, like, ridiculous. And every single half a second counts for Tinker. So don't even bother using a laser when you're trying to kill somebody solo. If you do have a Dagon level 5 and E-Blade, just use your E-Blade Dagon, rearm, E-Blade Dagon, rearm, E-Blade Dagon, rearm, blink, E-Blade Dagon, shit like that. And compared to pro players, I like to use March a lot more than they do. Like, they actually conserve their mana. Here, okay, 150 HP and I fucking die. Like, I didn't understand how it did so much damage to me. I guess, I mean, I know it does percentage damage based on your intelligence, but that's a lot, man. I had 150 HP. I didn't think I would die there. So I think that's my only death during the game. And that was one of the deaths that I feel like I shouldn't have died. And maybe a couple others that I should have died at, but it's no big deal. Oh yeah, at the beginning of the game I was so fucking skeptical, man, because we had a Nature's Prophet and an NP. Wait, oh yeah, a Nature's Prophet and a Drow, dude, and they had a fucking ganking lineup. I thought what was gonna happen, they were gonna gank me in mid, so I was not gonna get good farm, and then like they were gonna keep ganking the Drow and like keep ganking the Nature's Prophet, because this is fucking greedy lineup. Oh, here's a pretty good play. I'm waiting. Got my mana for my Dagon just in time. It wasn't a KS on purpose. I just was spamming it. So, whatever. And also with Tinker, like, yeah, he's the king of KS. So if you want a KS, it's like fucking the best hero to KS with. What? That was slow. What? Oh, he died. That's kind of funny. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What else? The thing that's bad about Tinker is you don't want to really take farm from your carry. So like, you can farm all 3 lanes at once basically when you're playing Tinker. Don't do that. If your carry is like farming top and farming jungle, don't go top and farm jungle and stuff. Like, farm wherever your carry is not farming. So if 3 of your heroes are defending one lane, don't go to that lane and march, because it's just like there's no fucking point. Go to another lane and march. So that kind of thing. And also, I guess, be safe where you're farming at. Like, yeah, you gotta be really good at map awareness of playing Tinker, because you really don't want to die. Like, it's really bad when you die. Alright guys, I think that's it. I mean, there's a bunch of other points, but most of just about everything that I think is crucial for Tinker. Okay, another thing. It took me forever to get good at Tinker, so I think I started Tinker like playing Tinker seriously like a year ago. And basically what I did is I played like 100 games just about in a row with Tinker. Like, every other game or like a couple of games in a row, and then I would like basically like every 2 out of 3 games I played Tinker for like a month or 2 or 3 even, right? I was just determined to get good at him. So it took me a long time. So the first 50 games I pretty much had like a 40, maybe even 35% win rate. Like, it took me a long time to learn Tinker. But then I started getting a 50% win rate, and when I got to 100 games, I think I started getting like a 60% win rate. So, I mean, Tinker's really strong. Like, he's good at laning. He's good at lane control. He doesn't have escape mechanisms though, but he is good at farming, and the fucking nerf actually is huge that you can't. The March is magical damage now, so you can't farm ancients with it. That's a huge nerf. Like he used to be, and the nerf to E-Blade, that the E-Blade is not instant anymore. That's a huge nerf too, and the nerf to Dagon, that Dagon mana cost does not decrease with leveling up Dagon. So all three of those nerfs combined makes Tinker such a weaker Tinker than he was in the previous patch. So I mean, there's a reason he was nerfed though. He used to be played like almost every other game, and now it's just you barely see Tinker. But I mean, I still like playing him. You could still do a bunch of stuff with him. So the only thing that isn't nerfed is going Hex Tinker, because you can still farm jungle. And the only thing that's affected is that you can't farm ancients, which is, I mean, not too big a deal. It's a big deal, but it's not too big a deal, I guess. You just basically stack jungle. And you have to know how to double stack with Tinker. Both in Radiant and Dire. Basically, the thing is, the hard camp, you hit at 53. And basically you walk a little bit, and then you march backwards to hit the other camp that you need to stack at 55, and then you walk to away, and you can double stack this almost every single time. So you can double stack, yeah, instead of single stacking you can double stack, like you can stack two camps at once with Tinker, which is pretty cool. You could do that with like Venge and like other heroes, like maybe Windrunner too, yeah, that have long range cast abilities. So basically, try to be as efficient as possible, and I highly recommend watching like Dendi Tinker or some other Tinker replay, like arteezy Tinker or something. There's a bunch of other Tinker players, but just YouTube Tinker full replay with commentary, and you're gonna get a bunch of replays and just watch those. Yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you like this kind of video, where I comment over a replay and try to give you insight on what I think is important about a hero and is not. Thanks for watching guys. Peace out.